Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, welcome back to another video. And in today's video we're gonna be duping a palette that I've wanted to buy for the longest time, and now it's being re-released. And you've probably already read that from the title or the thumbnail, but I'm duping the Fêtes de Provence by Nomad because I want to really test this color story. And my soul wants me to buy this palette, like genuinely. It's because it's beautiful, but I really don't need another palette in my collection. What I love about that color story is that it's a very unique color story and something that I genuinely don't have. There are a couple palettes that I've bought recently that technically I kind of already have them in a way, but this one is definitely something that I don't have and that I would love to own. It's just kind of, I don't really know if I should bring another palette, especially since there's a couple palettes behind me that I haven't used yet and I want to go through them. So, I just feel kind of bad about that. But this video is for me to test out the color story and see if it's genuinely something that I need with my soul, or if I can just keep the dupe palette around and just use that. So hopefully you'll enjoy that. I'm going to show you two looks. I'm going to show you the shades that I've been able to use for this, and swatches obviously, and I'm gonna give you like my thoughts at the end of the video. So hopefully you enjoy that. In case you're new here, hi, my name's Sasha. I love indie makeup, I love colorful makeup, I love eyeshadows, I love duping. That's been my passion this year, and I've heard from a couple of you that you've been enjoying it too, and that it kind of inspired you to try duping your palettes that you would like to get. So I hope I'm gonna keep inspiring you to do that. But anyways, let me kind of pop up the footage of this palette and let me walk you through the shades. So this palette is supposed to be a 15 pan with 2 rows of mattes, the first row and the third row, and then the second and then the middle row is supposed to be all shimmers. I've looked at so many different photos, videos, reviews to try to like match the color story as well as I could, but honestly, because everybody kind of uses different lighting setup and different camera setup, for some people like the shimmers look very satiny, for some they look super sparkly and out of this world. So it kind of depends on how you set your camera and your lights, and then it's kind of hard to dupe it because I don't actually know how it's supposed to look like. And there are a couple of shades that I don't even know what they're supposed to look like because it was different for every single video and photo I've seen. But first up, we have a deep bodied shade from Glam Shop from the Violette palette, and I don't know how it's called because the sticker on the back kind of rubbed off, and I'm not completely sure what was the name of it, but it's a very vibrant, kind of icy, purpley pastel shade. Next up, we have the shade Muslin from the Muslinova by Glam Shop, another deep bodied shade. And this one is a little bit more like a peachy, blushy shade actually. And I wouldn't mind using it as a blush eventually. Next up, we have a Colourpop single, and it's called Big Smile. I don't know if you can still get it because I've had mine for like maybe 2 years, but I bought that at Colourpop, and I will link all of these shades down below. Next up, we have another single Colourpop shade, and it's called Friendly. And it's a beautiful, kind of like a pinkier version of a lavender shade. And then the last one on this row is called Nowhere, and it's a deep bodied shade from the Christmas Eve palette by Uden's Eye. And this one is the one that I'm not sure if it's supposed to look like that, because in certain photos it's supposed to be like a gray that has a little bit of a purple undertone, but then I saw some swatches and videos where it's like kind of a deeper purple going into like a blue-gray kind of. So I have no clue if I'm right or not, but this was the first shade that I kind of thought about when I was building up this color story, and it felt right when I first saw like the color story of the palette. So if I'm not correct, just let me know down below. And then we have the row of shimmers. So first up is a deep bodied shade from Glam Shop from the Muslinova palette, and it's called Yak Yadvab. I'm gonna write it down because I'm not fully sure if I know how to pronounce that. Next up is a shade Glazed from Mika Beauty Shop, and it's a new shade for me. I've only tried it once before. It's beautiful. Next up, we have a shade from the Pokemon palette by Colourpop, and it's called Champion. And it's kind of like their glittery formula, but this one is a very soft glitter, and it feels like a regular shimmer. Next up is a Frankened shade from two of the shades in my Christmas Eve palette by Uden's Eye, and it's the shade Blue Sky and Wonderful. So I mixed these two together a while ago, and I'm trying to use this shade up. And the last one on this row is the shade Star Sign from Terra Moons. I've had this one for a while, and it's kind of like a blue to purple kind of periwinkle, which I think that's how it's supposed to look like in the original palette. And then for the last row of mattes, so we have the shade Festive from Glam Shop. This is a single that you can buy from them, even though I don't know if it's still available because I bought this again like maybe 2 years ago. And then we have Raspberry Cream. I don't know if this shade isn't supposed to look slightly different, but I'm not completely sure because in certain photos it looked more brown, in others it looked more kind of red than what I have, but in some of them it was this like raspberry color. So maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, and I don't have that many reddish shades in my collection, so I wouldn't be able to match it to anything else, so I just used this one. But it's called Raspberry Cream, and again, it's a single from Glam Shop. I don't know if they still have it. Then we have a shade from the Legend of Korra palette, and it's called Airbending, and this palette is from Colourpop. It's a beautiful, warm, kind of honey-like yellow. Then we have a beautiful, beautiful purple, and it's called Lavender Town. It's from the Pokemon palette by Colourpop, and you know, Fêtes de Provence, like I needed to use a lavender shade, and especially since this is called Lavender Town, obvious choice. And the last one is supposed to be kind of like grayish almost, and this one is called Bender from the Legend of Korra palette by Colourpop. So these are all the shades that I've used. Here I'm also gonna show you the swatches. I think for a majority of these shades I was able to match them quite well. I was mostly focusing on swatches when I was building this color story, but also obviously I wanted to know how they're supposed to look like in the pan. And I think there's like 3 shades that I wasn't able to match very well, or I'm still not sure, but the rest I think I was quite spot on. And as I said, it's just such a great color story. I love what they did with this. So let me show you how I made the look that how I created the look that I'm actually wearing today, and then I'm also gonna show you second look and my final thoughts. I genuinely missed the fact that I haven't bought it when it launched, because I already knew about Nomad when they launched this, and I think I've already tried one palette from them, so I knew that the formula is okay. Well, it was back then. And this palette, the color story really intrigues me. I love the way it looks, and I think that if it's gonna go well for me, and if I'm gonna like the looks that I'm gonna create with it, I might keep this color story up. Yeah, it is gorgeous. So I think today I'm gonna play with this 6 pan over here with maybe one more shade, and then because this is a 15 pan, so yeah, I think I'm gonna play with like 7 shades today, and then we're gonna leave the rest for tomorrow maybe. I'm not completely sure how that's gonna work. So let me prime my lids. I'm using the Wet n Wild Mega Last eyeshadow primer, which is a primer that I'm trying to use up this month. I've been actually trying to use it up last month, but it didn't really work for me, and I still have a little bit left, so I'm just gonna use it all over the lids. I'm gonna start with this shade, which this shade is Festive, if I remember correctly, from Glam Shop. It's one of their singles, and I bought it a while ago, so I don't know if they still have it. But in case they still do, I'm just letting you know. So we're gonna start with Festive in the outer corner. It's such a beautiful, like a hot pinky shade. Slightly reminds me of raspberry, but it's a little bit more like magenta. Like I feel like raspberries are not that much of pink. And I'm using the Glaminatrix EO7. I've been testing these brushes lately for the past like week and a half maybe, and I've been enjoying them a lot, so just to let you know. Then I'm gonna use this kind of peachy toned shade, and I think this one is called Muslin from the Muslinova by Glam Shop. I depotted that palette because I didn't really need a full palette like that, but I did like the shades, and I bought the palette to depot. So I'm just gonna blend out this look. Then I'm gonna use this shade, and I know that this one is depotted from the Glam Shop Violette palette, but I don't know what the name is because I had a sticker at the back with the shade name that I've written down, but I guess there was some water or maybe alcohol that got near the sticker, so the sticker is still there, but it dissolved all the text on it, so I don't have the shade name. But I'm pretty sure that it's from the Violette palette by Glam Shop, and it's a beautiful bright purple. And I'm gonna use this in the inner part. So over here. I'm gonna take, by the way, I was using the AO5 from Cinch Beauty for the inner corner shade, or like the inner crease shade, and I'm gonna use this small pencil brush, which is EO8 from Glaminatrix on the lower lash line. And I'm gonna use this warm yellow, which is the shade Airbending from the Legend of Korra palette by Colourpop. Sorry. And I'm gonna use it on the lower lash line as an accent. Now I think I'm gonna use this shade, which this one is the least accurate maybe. It's called Nowhere, and it's a deep bodied shade from the Christmas Eve palette by Odensai. In some pictures, when I was looking at this palette, it looked like this shade is supposed to be kind of like a gray with a little bit of purple, which is exactly what Nowhere is. But in other lights, it looks like it's a purple that's slightly gray toned. So I'm not completely sure if I matched it correctly, because, you know, I don't know how it's actually supposed to look like. I've searched so many different pictures. I'm using it in the lower lash line on the second half. I've searched so many pictures and so many videos, and literally everybody uses different lights, so it looks completely different. The other shades are not that different from each other, picture to picture. Oh my gosh, what did I do here? But this one looked so different for everyone, so I don't know how it's actually supposed to look like, and the description didn't really help me because everybody describes it differently as well, so I'm not sure. So, you know, if you think that I'm way off with this shade, trust me, I've spent such a long time researching this, looking up pictures, videos, swatch comparisons. I've had so many different tabs open on my laptop, and this is the best that I found. Also, I don't have that many matte purples in my collection. I'm using NYX glitter glue, by the way. But, you know, like, I really don't know what it's supposed to look like. I was kind of confused, and the pictures didn't really help, to be honest. Like, so I just went with the first shade that I thought I'm gonna put there, because from what I remember from the original color story, and also from the couple pictures that I saw from Nomad, this was just the first shade that I thought about to put in there, so that's what I did. And I don't know if it's correct, and it's one of the shades that I'm trying to use up this year, so it serves another purpose as well. Then I'm gonna use 3 shimmers today on the lids. So the main one is gonna be this shade, which is, I just forgot. I'm gonna pop it on the screen because I know it's from the Mushlinova palette, but I can't remember right now. I know I've used it a couple times, and I know, like, I know the word. I just cannot place it right now. So that's what we're gonna start with, and I'm gonna use it in the first, like, half of the lid, like the inner half. And this one is a beautiful, slightly chunky, pinky purple shade. It's probably way sparklier than the Nomad formula, but I don't really keep shimmers that aren't as great. And also, this is these re-releases are supposed to be with their newer updated formula, which recently they've started using like a better shimmer formula. So I assume it's better than what they had before. And a couple of shades in the Fairy Tale Europe palette are almost like this. So maybe this shade actually could be this nice. You know, in the original Fêtes de Provence palette. And if you're French and I'm butchering the pronunciation, I've learned French when I was 9 and I only learned that for a year, and it was only like 1 hour before school. It was like at like 7 o'clock. So if my pronunciation isn't correct, then it's what I'm expecting because I don't know French. And I'm gonna use this. This is actually a Frankened shade that I made from 2 shades that are in my Pendos palette. And it's the shade Blue Sky and Wonderful from the Christmas Eve palette. Because it's supposed to be like a deeper purple. And I had one more or maybe 2. No, I had one more option that would kind of work because other options are duochromes and multichromes. And obviously this one isn't supposed to be duochrome or multichrome. So I needed a regular shimmer. And I only had, I think, 2 options. And again, this is a shade that I'm trying to use up, so I voted for this one because that's kind of how I do with dupes. I try to match the depth, the shift, as close to the undertone as I can. And if I have 2 options that neither of them is like perfect and one of them technically is something I want to pen or use up, that's my choice because, you know, it serves multiple other, like, it serves another function. And with dupes, the reason why it's dupe is because it's never 100%. So, you know, we're just trying to get the essence of the palette. I know that I'm not gonna be able to 100% find the exact same shades, especially considering the fact that I don't have that many singles. I have very little, or like very small collection of matte singles, and even my shimmer formula or multichromes, duochromes, like I don't have that many. I have like 6 Terra Moons, 4 Touch of Glam Beauty shades, 4 Sinful Echoes, multiple Mika Beauty Shop shades. Like I do have probably like 30, maybe 40 from them. I have a couple Cleonat, and then a couple Glam Shop Depotted shades. That's it. I don't have more. And obviously a lot of the times I use also Colourpop shadows that are from my palettes, but I only have like 4 Colourpop palettes, so you know, it's not the best. Now I'm gonna use this shade, which is from Mika Beauty Shop, and it's actually, sorry, my camera cut me off, but what I was saying is that I don't have that many singles. And I went ahead and did my inner corner, which is the shade Glazed from Mika Beauty Shop. It's this soft, kind of pale yellow. And I don't really know this shade a lot. I've only tried it once, but I love this formula. This is one of those like super smooth, sparkly, kind of like dry feeling formulas, but in a good way. Like I love these drier shimmers from Mika because they don't crease at all, and obviously like you can see how beautiful that sparkles. And it's this like pale yellow that's almost greeny a little bit, like it has a bit of green in it for sure, and I just feel like it fits this look so nicely. I also used my Streamline eyeliner pencil in the shade Orange, in my water. This is from Revolution. I have my Super Stay Concealer by Maybelline on. I'm gonna pop on the Panorama Mascara from L'Oreal and finish up the look, and I'll be right back. Okay, so here's the entire look. And so I think I mentioned the mascara, right? Yeah. Then I've used my Glisten and Lens water activated liner palette, and I've mixed the shade Bling with the shade Don't Think Just Do, as you can clearly see over here. And yes, this is how my palette usually looks like. That's how my water activated liners look like, because that's what I do. So I usually try to clean it up for a video, but realistically, day to day, this is what I'm dealing with. And then my blush is a mixture of the shade Gingerbread from the Merry Christmas Palette by Udens Eye and the shade Ice Crystal from Christmas Eve, also by Udens Eye. And as you can see, this is getting smaller. Ha! The excitement is just everywhere. So as a highlighter, I have the Avatar The Last Airbender Earth palette from Little, and I'm using the shade Kyoshi because it's this beautiful kind of warm goldy orange with like pink sheen as well. And I don't know, I just felt like it fits this look. And then a part that I'm not completely convinced, but maybe it's just the fact that I don't wear shades like this ever, is the lip. And I'm wearing the Udens Eye and Judy lipstick from their Legendary Diversa collection. I have the matte one in the shade Tulips, and I don't know, I just felt like maybe it could fit. And there's part of me that think this is okay, and then there's also part of me that's just kind of unsure if this was a good idea. So what do you think? Let me know if you would change the lip or not. That's for this look. So far, I'm really enjoying this color story. We've actually been able to use 8 shades, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we used 8 shades. Then we have these 3 to use tomorrow. These 2, this one, and this one. So I'm gonna come up with a look that could utilize these. And yeah, I'm really enjoying this color story. I love the way it looks visually as well. Like, it's such a pretty palette. It's such a pretty palette. Like, they did such a great job with this. And also the cover art. I really want it. I really want it. But I have so many eyeshadows. Like, I kind of feel bad for always wanting to buy new palettes, because it's just like, realistically, I know I'm never gonna be able to go through all of them, but it's so pretty. And this one is definitely a color story that I don't actually have in my collection, so I'm kind of torn. So pretty. I have so many looks that I want to do with this, so I think it's gonna be another duped palette that I'm gonna kind of keep track of. I already written down all the shade names in my spreadsheet, so that if I ever want to reach for it again, I can just pop them all into this the palette. This is the Legend of Korra by Colourpop. It's a 15 pen that I always use. But anyways, that's everything for this look, and see you tomorrow with another one. Okay, so here's the second look. Sorry for the change of background, but I'm currently in my grandparents' house, so that's kind of why it's a little bit different today. And you're gonna just have to get accustomed to that, because I'm gonna actually be here the entire summer. Maybe I'm gonna go back to my dorm for a couple days, just to like water the plants, take some stuff, meet my friends, but otherwise I'm not really gonna be there. So we're gonna have to survive with this background. Maybe I'm gonna change the background and go to different room, but there's currently renovations, so we'll see if the renovations will happen on time. Then I might have nicer room to like film in, but now that this room isn't nice, it's just obviously like a little bit older, so it just looks a little, you know, I used the Wet n Wild Glass eyeshadow primer. And now, and now we're gonna go into these shades. So I'm gonna start with the crease shade, which is gonna be this one. And this is the Lavender Town from the Pokemon palette by Colourpop. Let me actually get all my stuff here. Why is there so much mess on the table? I'm using the EO2 by Singe Beauty. And yeah, we're just gonna use it as a crease shade. This one is a really beautiful, kind of like softer, brighter purple, and it's a very nice mid-tone shade. Like, it's not too dark, but it's also not pastel. We're gonna use the shade Friendly, which is from Colourpop. It's one of the it's one of their singles. I don't know if they still have this one, but in case they do, and I'll find it, I'm gonna link it down below. Obviously, there's gonna be the entire color story written down in order. But I just don't know if they still have this or not. And I've actually used this shade a lot with different BYOP, so I'm having there's a proper dip in this shade. I think it's still gonna take a while for me to hit a ban on this, because these were singles, like the shades that you buy as singles from Colourpop. They are in like a really thick, big pan, so it's probably gonna be a little harder to hit ban on, but I have a good dip there. And I'm gonna use this shade, which is called Raspberry Cream, and it's from Glam Shop. And I'm gonna use it in the outer corner, and I'm gonna probably use it on the lower lash line as well, because I like how bright this shade is, and it's a beautiful undertone. I really love the tone of this shade. I don't wear it a lot, but I love the tone of it, and I wish I started using it more. Maybe I'm kind of still thinking if I'm not gonna do my hair pink around the end of summer, and if they will be pink, I think I could use a lot of pink eyeshadows, because I think for my next project Level Up, I'm gonna use a palette that is kind of pinker. So maybe that could be like a fun little thing. I'm gonna do the lower lash line right now. I've been loving this brush, by the way. This is the Glaminatrix EO8 from the new brushes collection. This one is so small and perfect, especially if you want to do the darker shades and you don't want to go overboard. This is just perfect brush, genuinely. And I've had a lot of brushes that I've been using on my lower lash line, but this is genuinely the best one. It's just so small and so precise. And technically, if you have really light hand, you can even do liner with this. But for liner, a lot better one is this angled one, which is very, very thin, and it has pretty strong bristles, so it doesn't move a lot, and you can just really get the line straight, even with eyeshadows. And it's the EO6. I love that one. And we're gonna use the shade Pro Bender, this one, which is from the Legend of Korra by not Wooden's Eye, Colourpop. And I'm just gonna create liner with this, because I don't know what else I would use this shade for. Obviously, I could use it for a look, but today, since I want to use all the shades, it wouldn't work. Okay, now, before I'm gonna use the last matte shade, I'm gonna get my NYX glitter primer, and I really have to squeeze hard. And now for the shimmers. So I'm gonna start with this one, which is Champion from the Pokemon palette by Colourpop. I wanted to say Wooden's Eye again. I don't know what's wrong with me. And I don't know if I mentioned that in the initial describing these shades in the intro, but this one is one of those glitter formulas, and it happened what I thought it's gonna happen, which is it's not really sticking to my brush. So I'm gonna use my finger for this and just stick it with my finger. Hello. There used to be pigment there. Okay, it just needs a little more help. What I really like about this shade is that it is like yellowy gold, but it also has a little bit of like purpley pink glitters in there. It is just such an interesting... Oh, we have a pan. That is... Okay, I got so excited about the pan that my camera just got scared and shut me off and cut me off. But I have to show you. We have a pan, and quite a good one. But obviously it's a glitter, so we're gonna use a lot of it. Now I'm gonna use the shade Star Sign from Terra Moons. As you can see, I already finished one eye. In the meantime, because it takes a while for the camera to start working again. That's why I need a new one. That's why I would really need 1,000 subscribers. No, obviously, like, subscribe to whoever you want. I'm not forcing you. I wouldn't want people who are subscribed to my channel but never actually watch any of my videos. That's kind of like, it's kind of pointless, you know. I'm gonna add a little bit more of the glitter back. Kind of like the way it is like right now. So what I did then is I'm using this shade Big Smiles from Colourpop. It's another single of theirs. And for inner corners, I've been really enjoying this Glaminatrix EO. Is it 5 or 3? 5. It's a really like small little pencil one. Sorry, maybe being in the center would be better. And this one is a beautiful kind of dandelion-y yellow. It's very bright. It's very beautiful. The other yellow that I have here is a little bit more like honey-like, kind of like, you know, like it's a little bit more deeper and slightly more orangey. I just love mixing yellow with like berries. That's just the perfect combo. There's a cocktail that is these colors, right? Can't remember what it was called, and I know I wanted to learn how to make that cocktail. If you know a cocktail that looks like this, ideally it could be non-alcoholic, let me know down below, because I know I've seen something like that, and I know it's quite popular. So okay, so here's the final look. I decided to add a waterline little liners because I'm currently working on this Lindt & Glisten waterliner palette for my palette crush of the month, and I've used the shade Blink, this beautiful vibrant neon yellow. And yeah, I have a little line here, then a couple little flowers, and then a bigger flower with these crystals from Shein. I don't know if you can still get them. I wasn't able to link them in the past couple of videos that I've mentioned them, so I don't know if they're still available. Then I have the Panorama mascara from L'Oreal, this Maybelline Superstay concealer in the shade Tan. I've already mentioned the eyeliner. Then I have this lip pencil, and this one is the Essence 8 Hour Matte Comfort Lip Liner in the shade, the perfect shade. And then this Oden's Eye lipstick. This one is the Oden's Eye and Angelica Nyquist Halloween bundle lipstick, and it's the matte one in the shade Shadow Creature. It's this kind of reddish one. So that's for the lips. And oh, blush and highlighter, right? So I'm mixing these two shades again, Ice Crystal from Christmas Eve by Oden's Eye and Gingerbread from Merry Christmas palette from Oden's Eye. And we're so close. And then we have the Mini Charms palette by Beauty Bay as a highlighter, and I'm using the shade Infinity. this orangey one. It's kind of like a pink to peach to orange highlighter. So yeah, it's a beautiful highlighter, and I want to kind of focus on this shade now that it's like really warm outside, and I have a little bit of a tan. Just because I have a little bit of a tan on because I've been outside for the past couple of days, so I did actually get a little bit of tan. I don't know if you can see, but yeah, I'm back to my like peachy color that I usually have during the warmer months. And when it comes to this palette, or like the color story that we've been able to do, I absolutely love this. I love the looks that I did with this. I love the brighter look and like the brighter half, like this one. It's honestly, this 9 pan, that's the most interesting part for me. Like, I need to keep this 9 pan because this is just so pretty. And obviously these shades also, like, they work really nicely with it. Also, this is just so extremely beautiful and gorgeous. And yeah, I love this. I'm definitely keeping track of this color story, and I'm gonna be using it again. Unfortunately, I will have to take all the shades out to show you the other two palettes, but this is so good. This is so incredible. And if any of you have a empty Colourpop palette, like one of these either 12 pans or 15 pans, just like the magnetic palette, and you would want to get rid of it, if you're from Europe, please like let me know down below. And I don't know, write me that around and DM me on Instagram. I would love to purchase that palette because I love these magnetic palettes from Colourpop. I just don't really enjoy I do love their mattes as well. I don't enjoy their shimmers. So if you have an empty pan that you don't need from them, please let me know down below. I would really love to purchase that because I do use them all the time for my BYOPs, and I just love if you actually have like a background. I know that you can get like acrylic ones, and sometimes they are really pretty, but sometimes I do enjoy the fact that it has a background. So if you have that, please let me know down below. And yeah, this is just so beautiful. I still really, really want the Fêtes de Provence. Like, I don't think this video helped me in like swaying me away. I know that probably some of these shimmers are better than what Nomad has, but the mattes, I think I have formulas that are very good and on the same page as Nomad. Yeah, this is hard. I don't know if they're gonna have any sales happening. Maybe for a sale, but I have so many palettes in my collection. But then I know that even if I'm gonna keep this color story written down somewhere, the fact that I don't have the palette physically, I might forget to use it again. Like, I'm probably gonna use it this summer, but then who knows if I'm gonna remember next summer, for example. But I have so many palettes. It would still not get that many uses. Let me know. Like, would you just keep the dupe, or would you actually purchase the palette? Because I also really love the packaging. I know that's like a very stupid reason and very shallow reason, but I just love everything about that palette. I might just get it eventually. If it's still gonna be available during some kind of sale, I'm getting it. I am so getting it. Yeah, I think that's the plan. But let me know which look was your favorite. Let me know what you think about this duped color story, and if I was able to hit the spot. And I'll be I hope you had a wonderful day, and I'll be super happy to see you tomorrow with another video. So bye.